Coach, you often, preach about the details. How much did free throw shooting and turnovers hurt your group tonight?
I think that was it. I think, you get to the free throw line 37 times, go 24 for 37. You don't give yourself a chance there. Those are opportunities that can, kind of break the back of the opponent. When you knock them down, it goes from a 10-point lead to possibly a 15-point lead. But when you miss them, they have the opportunity to come back down the stretch.
How did you feel like your team dealt with their composure throughout the game, especially in the second half?
I think there were moments that, we got together, we tied it in, and then there was moments that we can be better. That's absolutely the truth there. And these are lessons we have to continue to learn as we, come down the stretch in these close games, because there are going to be a lot of close games.
What did you see from Jalen late? I mean, felt like he was putting his body on the line quite a bit there.
He does that. That's who he is. He plays hard. He lays it all on the line every time he touches the floor, because he knows the opportunity that he has. So, he's going to continue to do that for us.
I know we've made a lot of trying to increase the pace and trying to find some life in the offense. What did you think about the pace and maybe the tempo that the team played with in the second half? And what do you need to do when that slows down a little bit or slows down more than you'd like it?
Yeah, I think a lot of the turnovers happened early, and in a lot of ways it was just, the spacing, the timing, the movement. That was a big portion of it. I think us being able to get out in transition is something that's going to be key for us on the stops. But the other side is, you go 24 for 37 from the free throw line, it's hard to give yourself a chance in a close game.
Even with the free throws, like you guys missed, I think 10 of those free throws in the first half.
Mm-hmm.
You guys still had the lead. What maybe went sideways in that fourth quarter, especially? I know you guys struggled with the 3-point shot in the second half, but what maybe went sideways that kind of got the offense off kilter a little bit to not score even with the missed free throws?
You got to give Atlanta a ton of credit for the way they turned up the defensive pressure, the defensive heat. A lot of the physicality there. You got to give them credit for the way they played. We'll go back and look at the film, see where we can improve, and we got to bounce right back and get one tomorrow.
What went into the decisions surrounding Jonathan Isaac and Jet's minutes tonight? Felt like Jonathan just played those final 9 seconds of the third, and Jet had 2 separate 2-minute stints. I'm just wondering what went into those decisions.
Just guys getting the opportunity for those stints. Get guys breathers, because the way we're playing, you give guys a moment to play. They step in, they play they get their moments in the game, and that's the guys that stay ready when they're called upon.
Tristan was strong on Wednesday night as well as tonight. What are you seeing from him, and was there maybe any consideration of putting him in the last couple minutes in the game?
There was some thought about it. I think that group in there had a little bit of a rhythm, and they had worked on some things together. So I think, go back and look at the tape and see exactly what we could have done differently, where we could improve, other than the free throws and the turnovers. But what could we have done, tactically different?
Coach, what makes Trae Young so difficult to stop, especially when he's getting downhill with his shiftiness and how he moves about with his body?
Yeah, he got downhill quickly down the stretch because his ability to knock down shots, so you have to press up. And then, a couple of those last ones where he gets downhill and stops on a dime, and you're stuck in the place of you're trying not to foul, but he takes away your space, and then you give him that call, so it's hard. You're trying not to defend him without fouling, without giving up the easy layup. But he's such a shifty player that he can stop on a dime and get that call, as well as, kind of throwing his body into the defender and then getting that call. So it's tough to defend it that way.
Coach, 22 of their first 27 points were in the paint. What are some of the things you want to do to shore up those gaps in that area?
Well, we got to sit down and guard our yard. Understanding who we're closing out to, them attacking the middle of the floor. We've got to be better there. Just closing off gaps and then showing early help and then getting out.
Paolo struggled with his shot in Wednesday's game, struggled again with his field goal percentage, at least in tonight's game. What do you need to do to get him going and get him moving in the right direction to be the player that he can be?
Paolo continues to work. There's not something I worry about with him when it comes to that. Like, he puts in the time, puts in the work, understanding how he needs to play and what he's going to continue to do.
On the other end, Franz led you offensively, come out aggressive in both games. What have you seen from him offensively so far this year?
Just a pure level of aggression, getting out in transition, getting some early easy baskets, make or miss, looking to get out and run, just putting pressure on the defense, getting to the paint, touching the paint, and then being able to make a play from there. Thank you all. Appreciate it.
Just real quick, do you expect to have Jalen available tomorrow?
No.
Okay. Thanks.
Dell, your group normally prides itself on the details. How much did the missed free throws and turnovers hurt your group tonight?
That was the game, in my opinion. We had control of the game, majority of the game, even with our mishaps. But the fourth quarter is where games are won, and including myself, we all had some lows on the defensive end and offensively. Sometimes it was a little unorganized. So, in my opinion, it's an easy fix, but it's just something that we had to pay attention to going into the next game.
What makes it an easy fix? Obviously, you guys are trying to play a bit faster on offense, but just from your perspective, what do you think makes it an easy fix?
Because we all want to win. You know what I mean? So we're all able to have those conversations with one another, constructive criticism, and then we just keep it moving. We all understand that it's never a personal thing. So, and we got great leaders, great vocal leaders. So, this is a game that we'll talk about, and we keep it pushed. We got another one tomorrow.
We've made a lot about the kind of changes you guys are trying to make on offense, how you're trying to play faster. What do you need to do when you kind of hit those lulls on offense where maybe the ball slows down a little bit or you get a little stagnant?
I think we just all got to be on the same page. Once we slow the ball down, get into a good set, whether that set gets you a bucket of the initial action, get into the second action, and I think that's the biggest thing. A lot of us didn't know kind of what we were running. We weren't echoing calls. There was a moment in the third quarter where we weren't together on the offensive end, and we let it affect our defense. So those are the moments that we have to be able to control. I'm not saying we have to make every shot that we shoot, but we got to at least get good looks, not turning it over and just giving up the possession. So like I was saying earlier, it's an easy fix because we have a great team that wants to win, knows how to win, and we'll figure it out for sure. It's the second game of the season.
Obviously, you don't want to lose any game, but finding the silver lining, is it better to have this type of loss earlier in the season, or what's the perspective going in, just taking away from this game?
Like you said, no one wants to lose, but at the same time, we understand you're not going to win every game in this league. So, this is one we're going to go back and watch, figure it out, and then like I was saying earlier, we just got to move forward. We got 80 more of these things, so. Yes, it was a tough game for us. Like I said, we had possession of the game, control of the game most of the game. But yeah, we got to fix those 4 or 5 minute lows that we've been having.
Quick turnaround tomorrow for Chicago. Is that still a game you still circle on the calendar? And what are you looking for to get a W tomorrow?
Yeah. To answer your first question, definitely a game I always circle. It keeps me engaged, keeps me, ready to go. We look at it as a must-win. We never want to drop 2 in a row, especially here at home. So, the biggest thing is recovery for us. It's just got our legs underneath us, so we're able to still be able to run offensively, and then, like I was saying earlier, in those lows, we got to find a way to be more together.
Dell, from your perspective, what did you see on that collision late in the game between Jalen and Trey? It seemed like there was quite a bit of frustration with the way the ref decided to call it.
Wait, which one?
It was really late. I don't remember how many minutes were left. It was super late in the game, and it was towards the elbow. They collided with
on the
each
rebound?
other. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Jay was just trying to make a play on the ball. It was I think it was down 2, down 3, I think. Try to make a play. That was it. I don't think it was nothing to it. Yeah.
Wendell, you led the game in rebounds. You had the huge putback in the first game.
Yeah.
When you make those big offensive rebounds, can you feel the momentum shift for your team and energize your team? Do you pride yourself on those type of hustle plays with how important second chance points are? And also, how does that transition fast break alley-oop to Anthony Black feel like tonight?
Yeah, that's something I pride myself on. That's something that this team needs. We got a lot of gifted offensive players. So I just try to find my way to fit into the system, and that's one of the ways that I know I can provide that every single night. And definitely, when I do have those moments, it's definitely I definitely feel that momentum shift for sure. And that's a part of my bag. I'm able to throw a little outs here and there. So that was fun.
Thanks, Del. I'll be back with
Franz, your group is normally one that prides itself on the small details. How much did the free throws and turnovers hurt you guys tonight?
Yeah, it hurt us a lot. I feel like we kind of beat ourselves. Not to take credit away from Atlanta, but I think a lot of the mistakes we made, were just self-inflicted, and we got to clean those up.
Franz, you had 27, but only 2 in the fourth. Was there anything that they did differently late that made it tough for you on offense, I guess?
No, it's just how the game goes sometimes. And obviously, Dyson Daniels is a great defender. I had 2 turnovers that, led to them tying up the game. Doesn't matter who scores points, honestly. We just got to get a win.
We made a lot of kind of the increase in tempo and then the faster pace you guys are trying to play at. What do you need to do when you notice maybe the team becoming stagnant or slowing down to a level that you guys do not want to do this year?
I think you're going to have lulls. I honestly thought in that third quarter where they made a run, we got some really good looks, just didn't make them. And then I did think we stalled out a little bit in the fourth. Just, I don't know, finding the next action. And just, kind of play quicker in the half court as well. It's not going to be fast like that, especially towards the end of the game. So, that's when executing the half court becomes more important.
You mentioned, I think, on Wednesday about kind of learning the habits, the kind of the new habits that you want. Is this just kind of part of the process of just kind of embedding what you want in this?
I don't think we lost because of that. I thought we played a good game. We missed some shots. There, like I said, in the third, we had way too many turnovers and missed too many free throws. Other than that, we would have won the game.
As far as some of the positives go, we saw a lot of Franz plus bench lineup, Paolo plus bench lineup. What do you guys like about the versatilities of those lineups?
Yeah, I think obviously it's good sometimes to not have both of us out there, and I think that allows for a lot of room for either one of us, and just finding ways to play to each player's strength out there. And like I said, I thought we, especially in the first half, especially in the second quarter, I thought we played a pretty good offensive game. And if we clean some of those mistakes up, like I said, I think we'll be fine.
Franz Tristan's had a good 2-game run here to start the season. You got to play with him over the summer with Eurobasket. What are you seeing from him this season, and maybe that you didn't see last season?
I think he's playing super confident, very aggressive, which I think he's that type of player. He needs to play like that. And super happy obviously to see him make steps forward, and hopefully he can do that tomorrow.
Thank you,
Thanks.
Thank you, everyone. We'll see you tomorrow.